Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuff here. Little rainy afternoon beer review time because, yeah, what else are you going to do when it's raining? Anyway, little Czech style lager going on called Jaws. Let me turn my little light on here. Works better when the light's on. There you go. Jaws from Zero Gravity Brewing. It's a little buzzy in here. I got fans going. I actually have an air conditioning going, but deal with it until we figure out the whole thing. And that'll actually come shortly. Probably before I post this, I'm going to do kind of a shed update, channel update video. So we'll talk about that. Go watch that if you want to. We got Jaws' Czech style pills from Zero Gravity. Actually dig me some Zero Gravity. Been to the brewery a couple times. Actually had really good food there. Oddly enough, my mother-in-law was talking about the sandwich she had last night, and it was like this weird puffy roll. I was like, banh mi sandwiches, and had some of the best ones I ever had at Zero Gravity when I was up there. This is a crisp Pilsner featuring Czech ingredients, smooth and snappy on the palate, big and bitey on the finish. We are coming in at 5.4%, done and done. Yeah. Digging on that Jaws theme. You know, I like the movie. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the biggest Jaws fan in the world, but yeah. Anyway. Man, what a weekend. It was actually a really cool weekend. I'll cover all that in the other video, but Ralph from Barrel Monks Brewing, channel viewer, kind of came down, hung out with the kiddo, had a great time doing a couple different things. So figured take a lazy Sunday, enjoy a couple beers. Now, you're talking about a Czech style pills. You expect a couple different things: snappy, clean, crispy, boy level stuff. That elevated bittering from a traditional style, just basic kind of Pilsner, and that clean, clear. You can see through it with I would say, it's criminal to call it haze at this point in time, but if you're going to go to the BJCP guidelines, not that we adhere to those, it has a very subtle haze to it and a very nice kind of snow globy carbonation. So it definitely looks the part of a nice crispy boy. What's the date on this sucker? I didn't even look when I bought it. 5/24. That's not too bad. That is 3 weeks old. No. 6 weeks old. No. 7 weeks old. So there you go. Good enough for me, especially for Czech pills. So yeah, looks the part. Let's see if we can get a nose on the sucker. Man, it has a nice kind of nutty, almost like biscuity malt thing going on, which is really nice. Don't usually get that from Czech pills all that much. You can, but from American-based Czech pills, typically it is just really all about being super crispy, kind of keeping that malt level down and being super snappy and bittering. Here you get a nice biscuity, crackery malt. It's crackery leaning into a biscuity, so it's not super big and robust, but for a Pilsner it is. Then you get this nice perception of what's going to be a decent kind of Zazi, kind of traditional Czechy kind of bittering going on. Has this nice kind of, like I said, kind of precursor to some actual bittering and taste, and just that malt base comes off really, really nice. Nothing negative here as far as off flavors or anything like that, at least tipping itself on the nose. Let's dive in. Cheers, y'all. That's delicious. Man, that's good. That is good. It's aggressively bitter. It's kind of what you'd expect from Czech pills, maybe notched up a bit. Just a skosh. Doesn't go super ultra fruity like an Americanized version of a Czech pill. It stays pretty traditional, except it's probably a bit bigger than what you'd expect from the classic OG, Czech pills. That malt base on this, though, is absolutely fantastic. Like I said, you don't usually get that level of malt base when it comes to this kind of beer. It usually comes off a little bit kind of like your whiter bleach kind of Pilsner malt, kind of generic, is the best word I'm looking for, kind of Pilsner malt. This has that nuttiness to it. Nuttiness with a bit of toastiness. That'd be thunder. And just this really nice, it still finishes pretty snappy, pretty crispy, but it just shows this really beautiful kind of malt base. Oh, that's delicious. Yeah, super aggressive on both ends of the spectrum for a really low ABV beer. Sure, you're talking about 5.4%, not the tiniest Pilsner in the world, but it's not big beer by any stretch. And the way you kind of get this big, robust maltiness in combination with that really aggressive hoppiness, it just kind of works. It stops short, obviously, ABV-wise of being a session beer, and the aggressive maltiness and hoppiness kind of, I wouldn't call it a session beer. I could easily drink a couple of these in a row, have no problem with that. But it really shows what you can do if you want to be a little bit flashy, a little bit showy when it comes to a style that, while a lot of American breweries tend to take this kind of wide stance when it comes to Czech Pils, they do this crazy amount of their own thing with it. And I do a little bit more traditional now because it's in vogue. This is taking that uber traditionalness and just kind of ramping it up, not throwing that American twist of like, yeah, we put Citra in it, or we put this in it, or we use this, or blah, 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 blah. It is very, very traditional from an ingredient standpoint. You can kind of get that. But it just seems like everything's cranked to a little bit higher volume on both the bittering and malt side of things in a very, very fun way. I think if you give this to somebody who's like a new school kind of crispy boy kind of person that likes explosive flavors when it comes to beers and things like that, or you give them to uber traditionalists, I think they find very, very similar kind of diggability. Diggability. I don't even know. Words are hard. Anyway, but I think most people really enjoy this on both ends of the spectrum. Talk about beer truist versus new school beer drinker. Zero Gravity, man. I dig on their stuff. I really do, and I'm glad I can get them really close. I believe I picked this up just on the street from my house, probably for like $11.99 for a 4-pack. At that price point, I'm never really gonna balk, especially from a craft level. This kind of beer, pick it up all the time. This would be like something I saw on a shelf. I was going to barbecue. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm grabbing that because it's low ABV enough to drink a couple, and just big enough. It can be the conversation, or it can be the facilitator of the conversation. Very tasty stuff. Yeah, if you're into kind of having a decent malt base, liking your hops to really be big, obviously you're going to get that with a Czech Pils anyway, but for its style, this pretty big, you're going to dig on this beer quite a bit. Like I said, value availability, off shelf, Zero Gravity, we pretty much get all their stuff down here, and I pretty much said if you like what we like this. Zero Gravity, have you been to the brewery? Do you dig them? Do you dig their beers? Have you had this particular beer? I actually had somebody, I was drinking a Pilsner, or reviewing a Pilsner not too long ago, and somebody said, I'm drinking a Zero Gravity Pilsner, blah, 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 right now, and I'm digging it. I wonder if this is the one, if it's the Jaws. I'll have to go back in the comments section and see if that person, or if you watched it, let me know, yeah, that was the one I was talking about, because it'd be kind of cool. Just be like, that person dug it or reviewed it. Here we go. So all that fun stuff. Let's talk about Zero Gravity down there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our review. Hopefully enjoying a little Sunday rainy day pills. Hope we'll see you next time. Cheers, y'all.